Yes, I know you are in a hurry to go watch that video, but please, since you happens to see this one, kindly, take some time and then watch this video to the end. Maybe latest by 8 9 minutes time, I will be done with you. So please stick around and watch the video. Especially what I am about to discuss, is very, very important. It can happen to anybody, irrespective of your age. And I'm going to speak about no other than dementia, absolute forgetfulness, absolute memory loss. Sometimes a lot of people think that memory loss or dementia is related to only elderly, people or persons. Especially the guy who brought this question to me, stated clearly that his name is Ame Eliab. Ame Eliab is someone, I mentioned his name because of how, ardent he is to our videos. He always watches our videos, and I think this is the third time I'm even giving a reply to his questions. He said, "Thank you, doctor. Sir, is there a herbal remedy to dementia in elderly?" You understand? Kindly do a video if possible. Thank you, doctor. You see, so he just wanted to know whether we have a medication for dementia, especially in the elderly person. But before I say yes or no, let me use this opportunity to tell you that dementia or memory loss, it's not only limited to elderly, persons. Everybody at all can suffer from dementia. Okay, yes, as you watch me, God forbid, and I pray that it doesn't happen to any of you watching me, or even anybody at all. You can have a head injury, an accident where, as a result of that accident, your head may be affected, and that is going to affect your brain, and then it will wipe everything up. Yes, you normally see some of these things in movies. When we were kids growing up, most of the movies we will be watching, sometimes you realize that the person will be, will be having a certain disease or having an accident, and the person's memory will all be wiped out to the extent that he or she cannot even remember his or her name, or cannot even remember her son or her daughter or anybody. You understand? We normally, see these things in movies, but in reality, it is there. But the perception a lot of people have is that this kind of disease or condition is peculiar to only the elderly, meaning people, from 70, 80, 90, 100, thereabout. But that is not the case. As young as 10 years, as young as 20 years, 30 years, 40 years can suffer from dementia. You understand? So keep that thing in mind. And that is why you should even be more, interested in this particular video, especially to this end we have reached. You see this particular plant you can see behind me? Yes, I don't know whether you can zoom for them to see. Yes, this is Lantana camara, and here I am holding, some Lantana camara. If you are someone who have been following me for quite some time now, you probably would, know this plant, because I cannot even count the number of times I have done video on this plant, especially when it comes to the memory. This plant, you can see God created it, specifically to treat memory conditions, memory issues. So anything that has to do with any condition that has a link, to the brain, this particular plant is here for it. For instance, Parkinson disease, Parkinson, the nerves and all that. By the grace of God, this plant is here. Stroke, paralysis. Yes, this plant can also work on that. Then memory loss, ADHD, attention, deficiency syndrome. Yes, hyperactivity. Okay, hyperactivity. You see a child with a very hyper, having a hyper, mood. And such a person or such a child is always last in what? In class. Last in class, as in what? As in positioning. Because such a child cannot keep all what he or she has been taught, because always the brain is hyper. You understand? So such a child, this plant can work on the child. So if you have a child whose performance is not good in class, this time around, not good in the other room but in class, you can just go look for this plant for the person. And then we have other health conditions like bipolar, like schizophrenia, like depression, and so on and so forth. This plant is also very good for us. And then come to the dementia. I always say that if Ghana Psychiatric Association Society will listen to me, listen to this my advocacy, I believe and have the hope that their cases they handle, or cases they handle within the year, would have reduced very, very drastically, because they can liaise with the government or with the civil society or with any private entity, so that they can get a very vast land where they are going to plant this plant. Look at it. God has given it to us. This one, you don't need to, you don't need to have a very big land in order to this thing. This one, it grows wild. It grows on itself, on its own. Nobody planted it. But we can have a deliberate attempt to plant it, because at the end of the day, the Ghana psychiatric hospitals here will be using it to be treating their patients with. I hope you understand. But unfortunately, all what I'm saying, or what I am saying here, will just remain here. Okay, it will not go anywhere. Very, very sad indeed. So if you have an elderly person who is battling with dementia, all you need to do is to go look for the plant Lantana camara. Here in Ghana, we call it Anansi Dokono. But make sure when you are going, you either go with your scissors, or you go with your what? With your gloves. I hope you understand, because it has this sharp thorn. Very sharp thorn. If you are not careful, it might, hurt you. So you go with that. And then you can identify it with this beautiful, yellow and violet or multicolored, flowers, as you can see. And then it has this berry. It has this berry. This berry, when it gets ripe, it turns from green to black. I hope you understand. So that is that. Very, very amazing plant. Very, very effective one for the brain. So you pick as many as you want. You have two options: either to wash them very nicely and dry them. When you dry them in the sun for some days, and it is finally dried, you can then pound it and make a powder of it, or grind it and make a fine powder of it. This powder, you have two options. You can either be making tea of it and then be drinking, giving it to the person, or you can mix it in a very pure honey. Make some of the powder in a very pure honey, and then be giving it to the child or to the person. But I would prefer, because getting 100% pure honey is difficult nowadays, I would prefer you use only the tea. Okay, get the dry leaf or the leaf. In fact, you don't need to even you don't necessarily have to even dry it. You can pick it from fresh like this, wash it very nicely, and then boil it and make a tea of it. It will come, it will infuse. So maybe a piece like this, a handful like this, will go with maybe about 600 to 700 ml of water. Boil it on fire for 10 to 15 minutes. After that, you can cool it off fire and then start drinking it. Children below, adults below 18 years will take one teacup in the morning, one teacup in the evening, and children below 18 years will take half teacup in the morning, half teacup in the evening. Continue to give it to this dementia person, this person with dementia. Continue to give it to the person, and I can assure you that the person is going to be in a very good shape, very, very powerful, very, very good shape. Just try it, and then let's see what happens. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Like I promised, I won't prolong the video because you are in a hurry to go watch the other one. Okay, so let's leave it here. But before I go, please go and subscribe to the channel. Okay, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then click onto the notification bell icon. You can see select all, so that anytime we come your way with videos like this, you will be the very first person to get notified. Let's meet again in the next one. Bye bye.